Hello everybody, I am back with another card. I have really been enjoying creating cards lately. I haven't really been in the mood to create anything else, so I hope you guys are enjoying these cards. I am going to be using a Altenew stamp set, which is called the Wallpaper Art stamp set. It is a gorgeous stamp set with beautiful flowers and leaves. And I am also going to be coloring it with my alcohol markers from Altenew. But before I get into how I created the card, if you could do me a favor and give this video a thumbs up, and I love reading your comments, so please leave me one down below. I truly do enjoy reading them, even if it is just to say hi. I would love to hear from you guys. And as always, all of the supplies are listed in the description box, so be sure to check them out if you are interested in any of the supplies that I'm going to be using today. I used my stamp platform to stamp out the floral image twice, and the ink I used is from Simon Says Stamp. It is the Intense Black, and it is specifically for using with alcohol markers. And I am using some Strathmore mixed media paper. For me, the paper worked great. The markers seemed to blend really good, and there was a little bit of bleeding through the paper, but it didn't bleed so much to the back where it transferred onto my mat, but you could see the marker on the other side of the paper. I'm pretty sure that that's normal with any type of paper because I did add so much alcohol marker on to the paper. I am very new at coloring with alcohol markers. I don't do this at all, but I do have the alcohol markers from Altenew. They had sent them to me, and even though I had explained to them that I don't really use them, I am not very confident in using them, but they sent them to me anyways quite a while ago. So I am going to try and use them and learn because I do love the look of them. So anyways, I am using two colors, and these colors come from the Artist Marker Set B, and the colors are R823 and R702. So the darker color is the R823 and the lighter is R702. And again, I don't color with alcohol markers at all. So I am trying the best that I can to blend them and to get the coloring that I want. I use a sort of like flicking motion with the larger tip. There's two tips on these, and one is more for like fine lines and the other one is more like a brush tip, I would say. And I'm using the larger tip. So again, I'm just kind of swiping outwards, and I have seen lots of people do this. I am always inspired by Aram Tasmin. I hope I'm saying her name right. She creates the most beautiful cards, and her coloring is absolutely gorgeous when she uses alcohol markers. And she does that where she just kind of flicks it out. It's hard to explain, but if you are new to alcohol markers, I would definitely suggest giving that a try. Just kind of flicking it out, and it gives a more natural coloring look, I think. Instead of straight lines, it kind of gives the edges a little bit of variation. And all right, so I finished with the darker color, and now I'm going in with the lighter color, and again that color is the R702, and I am going over the darker color into the white, so trying to blend them out a little bit the best I can. And again, I don't do this. I'm not confident in coloring with alcohol markers, but I do again love the look of them. So I actually really love how this flower turned out, and I will for sure be using the alcohol markers again soon. All right, so I do go over the darker color with the lighter color, I think 3 times, just to try to get it to blend a little bit better. and to because when you layer the color um, on top of each other, even if it is the same marker, it tends to darken a little bit. So that's what I wanted. There was a third color that I could have used, and I tried using it on a different image, but I did not like how it turned out. So I stuck with the two colors for my flower here. I will hopefully get more confident and color with more than one or two colors at a time or markers at a time. But for now, this worked perfectly. All right, so again, I am just kind of flicking out or like it's hard to explain, but I will have a link to Aram Tasmin's YouTube channel so you can check her out. And she also does a lot of videos for Altenew on their channel as well, so you can check them out over there as well. All right, so I am just going to finish up my coloring here. And I did go back in a couple different areas where there was those darker lines just to darken them just a little bit more. And then I went over again with the lighter color to finish it off. So that is how it turned out. I really like how it turned out. I'm actually really surprised how it turned out. All right, so for the center, I am using two colors. One is Y612 and the other is C001. And these two colors are from the same set B as the purple colors. All right, so I stamped out the flower on some copy paper, and that way I can mask off these leaves, as you can see here. And I do wish that I would have used some of the other leaves so that I can color them green or maybe even gray or something. But I do love how this card turned out. I love the black leaves. And I had to actually turn my card panel around so that I can get those leaves on there on the bottom. And then I'm just masked it off, and I'm using the same Simon Says Stamp Intense black ink as I did when I stamped out the flower. And I stamp the leaves, I believe 3 times. I don't think I show every single time that I stamp it out, but I did stamp it 3 times. That way I get a nice crisp image, because these are solid leaves. They don't have any type of lines or texture or anything in them. All right, after I stamped the leaves, I'm going in with the color WG01, and this is again from the set B. Just around the leaves and the flower. I had actually done the flower previous, but I didn't realize that my camera had died. But this is like a really light gray, just to kind of frame the leaves and the flower, just to kind of ground it a little bit. I didn't add anything to the background, so I felt it needed to be a little bit more grounded and to have something to kind of pull everything together, I guess. I feel that it just gives that extra little something to the card and the flower, just to add a little bit of shading and depth to the images here. While I finish up coloring, I did want to ask you guys if you have any favorite card makers that use alcohol markers that I could maybe get some inspiration from, or that I can learn something. I do really want to try to use them more and learn as much as I can. Again, I only have the Altenew alcohol markers. I don't have any of the Copic markers, but I think that for me, because I'm such a beginner and I probably wouldn't do it often, I think they would work just fine for me. But if you do have any other channels that you watch or people that you are inspired by that do a lot of alcohol marker coloring, please leave them in the description box so that I can check them out. All right, I finished up coloring behind the leaves and the flower, and now I'm going to add some black splatters with Distress Spray in I'm so used to saying picket fence. It's actually black soot. I did not use any picket fence today, surprise, surprise, but I did use the black soot just to add some interest to the card. I love how it is turning out. I am stamping the thank you sentiment on the card panel, but I do end up stamping it out on a different piece of cardstock and then backing it with some black cardstock and then popping it up a little bit in the end. I did that off camera, so I'm not going to show that. It's pretty basic, but I did use the die from Altenew, which is called, let me grab it really quickly, Dotted Scales Debossing Cover Die, just to give the card panel or the panel in the back just a little bit of interest. I felt it needed just a little bit of something and I didn't know what it was. I'm not used to really doing these one layer cards. I think the design that the embossing or the die added to the back just was perfect. All right, so that is going to complete my card for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. I truly appreciate it. And if you are ever inspired by any of my projects that I create, please tag me on social media. I would love to see them. And also, again, leave me a comment down below. I love reading them. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.